My project is about Benito Mussolini, and my character's name is Gatti Reciprocante Durante, and he is an Italian socialist who works for the Avante newspaper. So this is an article I wrote about the March on Rome and Benito's early life. He stabbed 2 of his classmates, and it wasn't really too bright of a kid. But he did the March on Rome, and then the king let him do what he wanted to do, and he just stepped away and he let him be prime minister. And here's when Matteotti died and free speech was banned, which means that Avante could not continue, so I had to start writing in a little journal, and it was really bad. When Matteotti died, that was also really bad, and I had to go find his body parts, and it really smelled. So I had to get back up Benito Mussolini, and I sprayed red paint all over his face in Rome with a couple of my friends. In this journal entry, Mussolini joined the Pact of Steel, which is where he joined Hitler and later Japan to form the Axis powers, and every woman got interned and men who lived outside of Italy at the time, and a lot of Jews from Italy just started disappearing. Here's when the bombing of Rome, Mussolini got kicked out because he was being a bad guy, and Pietro Badoglio took over, and Benito Mussolini became interned on an island, I think Ponzo. It was a ski resort, really not too bad. And this is when Benito Mussolini was shot in the face after the war was ended and Italy surrendered. He was shot by some communists, and so him and a couple other people who worked for him, including his mistress, got shot, and they were tied up onto a pole naked and beaten so bad that you couldn't even recognize them anymore. And this is when my last journal entry, well, technically it's the last newspaper that you'll see, which is when Italy became freed, and Independence Day, and the monarchy was abolished, so we started to clean up after ourselves and the mess we've made. And my quote is by Benito Mussolini himself, which is, "Let us have a dagger between our teeth, a bomb in our hands, and an infinite scorn in our hearts." I thought it was a very good quote because of how violent Benito Mussolini was and how violent the World War II was. And it just goes to show, what goes on in his mind. And so here are some book recommendations. It's called, the first one's my autobiography by Benito Mussolini. The other one, well, of course, it's by Benito Mussolini, so you could see what he thinks. And it's about him around the time when he became prime minister. Next one's Benito Mussolini by Christopher Hibbert, The Rise and Fall of Il Duce, which of course is about Benito Mussolini and stuff. And this last one's also by Benito Mussolini, which is My Rise and Fall, which is during, I believe, 1927. This is a map of everything that went on, where Avante, the HQ where Il Duce was murdered, where Mussolini was born, the bombing of Rome, and the March on Rome, where Mussolini was held captive in his little ski resort. That's nice. This is the video I was required to put in. And these are the works that I cited. Thank you for listening.